the world awaits the verdict in Simi Valley, California. On trial, 4 Los Angeles police officers accused of unlawfully beating motorist Rodney King. But the jury reaches the decision: not guilty on all counts. Los Angeles explodes in civil violence unparalleled to any time in this country's history. 102.3 KJLH was there in the middle of the disturbance, providing our listeners and ultimately the world with information, with an outlet to release frustration, and with the calming effect of dialogue and rational. Go right ahead.
I would just like to vent my frustration and outrage, and my question is this: how can you communicate with the people, I'm speaking white Americans, who simply seem to be apathetic and have no sense of empathy for the black plight, but that all they see is stores and being looted, and they can't understand how people are so enraged? I'm not justifying looting, but what I am saying is that they don't understand why we're so angry. There are still areas of Los Angeles that if we go into, we get harassed. Well, how can we tell them what is to be done?
The whole world is watching this.
I'm glad they're looking. It's unfortunate that they're seeing a few bad elements trying to cast a shot on the whole of the black population. But I mean, something has got to break.
City Santa.
Yes, Daniel.
And I was just wondering, I want to know what is this going to change all this crap? You know, I mean, I'm really disappointed with the what happened with Rodney King. And it was just a robbery. You know, Rodney King was raped of his justice. How could somebody tell me how could at least not one person have stood up and said no, this isn't going to happen. They can't get away with this, but they did. It's horrible. But I hope something changes for the better for South Central, the whole black community, because they're beautiful people, and it's about time they got some recognition for it. I'm white myself, but that has nothing to do with it because I don't care about colors, you know.
Smell the fires here.
It's on your way.
And I gotta tell you, I went to the church at A&E today because I'm really angry and I'm really very scared. You know, I just spent the last 10 years of my life in college. I went to one of the best law schools in the country, Hastings, up in San Francisco. But it doesn't really matter, because even with a briefcase in my hand and a suit on my back, I'm still just another nigger to the cops out there.
You know, I got a call from a white friend, and he asked me how I felt. And I told him, I said, right now, I'm angry. I'm pissed off. But like I said last night, we're dealing with attitude. And the attitude we're dealing with is a racist attitude, and it's terrible. We have to deal with this attitude by voting the people out. That's the one. The other thing is by coming together, because this is a common cause. Everything is happening for a reason. The Bible says, you recompense no man evil for evil, that I will repay. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. And I'm praying for peace. I'm praying that our brothers would come with some knowledge. And this is why the church is here, brothers, to wake up. And I'm praying that this is a wake-up call for our brothers to realize that this is a very serious situation that we're in, and that only way it's going to work is that we unite. Dr. King told them when they rallied, he said, listen, if you got to fight, don't come. If you're going to be shooting somebody, don't come. This is a peaceful thing, and I believe that we're going to get this thing together, and it's going to work out. I believe that.
News Director Carl Nelson.
I understand the paranoia that comes around in the African-American community when you're stopped by a police officer. These are things that we know that go on, that's been going on, not just in Los Angeles, but all over this country. Right. And so when a police officer stops you, you're on your P's and Q's. But for white folks, they have nothing to fear. But we've heard about those beatings all the time. Just having this one was
I
captured.
was real upset about the verdict, but really what upset me the most was sexual violence. And I was speaking with my son last night, he's 13, and I said, he's very clever. He set the stage, he was telling everyone how he was going to prepare the police force for violence. And it just seems like we just played right into it.
But the ironic thing about it, they were not prepared for it. Especially now, we were down there, something was happening, and you could see it.
I can't believe all the violence that has occurred as a result. I don't think that this is the solution. You know, I went to church last night, not necessarily looking for solutions, but just looking for a little I guess, spiritual cleansing. And I was really hurt when we walked out and saw a lot of the buildings surrounding the area on fire. I mean,
Yes.
all I can think about is, you know, I'm now about to get up and get dressed and go to my job, but what about those people that work, you know, right at the intersection of, Rodeo and La Brea? And, you know, it really hurts. It's like all those people now are going to be displaced.
You know, I'm 21 years old, and I dared him to go out to that community. I dared him. He needs to stay here. I was here in the White Riot. This is the ugliest, most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And this is not the way for us to vent our frustration. This is what they expect us to do. And the other thing is, I don't know why people are so surprised. The police have been whooping us down for years. We need to come together as a whole, as a black community, and we can make some changes. We have survived slavery for over 1,000 years.
You know, that's what
That's looting right now, black owned business right now.
It's being looted right now as we speak.
That African store on Crenshaw.
Go right ahead, Rooney. I know we really want to hear what you have to say.
First, let me address the issue of my people with these violent outbursts tonight. I'm ashamed. I don't like it. But I understand it.
Public Affairs Director and newscaster Jackie Stevens.
We were just saying here, we're discovering that our children are being impacted by all of the violence. They don't understand what's going on. Whereas another group of kids seem to be getting excited about this, enjoying it, out there participating in it. What about our kids?
Stevie Wonder.
You gotta get people home. You gotta give them purpose. You gotta give them reasons.
102.3 KJLH. The voice of the community. The only question that remains is,
You know, can we all get along? Can we get along? We all can get along. We just gotta, you know, I mean, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's try to work it out. Let's try to be, you know, let's try to work it out. Thank you.
That was just a sampling. We began, after our newscast editorial conversation, we went back to music. Our phones lit up. We'd take a call, go back to music. Ultimately, we stopped playing music, and we were news talk for 3 days. Our goal was to allow them to vent, to get it out. If they're talking and venting, they're not outside. And maybe they'll listen to what we had to say. Now, understand, we were planning, you know, we had, the plan we had did not work. So we were improvising as things were just blowing up around us. So my initial thought was for the safety of my staff. I sent all my staff home. My docs wouldn't go, they stayed, which was great. Then we just manned the phones. I got on the phone at the reception, and my doc stayed on the phone on air. Then we started calling. We tried to get psychiatrists, psychologists to come in and talk, to help them. We got religious leaders. Reverend Lawson was on our airwaves for over 20 years. Then martial law. What's martial law? What is that? What do you mean? Okay, being a Xerox person, I wrote a letter to my jock saying, okay, whoever's reading this, please allow them to come to work. They're broadcasting. And the lawyer said, that's going to get them arrested. Don't give them that memo. You know, I didn't know any better, but no one got arrested. My jocks came to and from work. But for the next 3 days, it was a fever pitch, just like what you heard, but at a higher level. It's hard to describe it. I think we all worked about 24 hours straight. One call that I will always remember is I was taking calls from the reception desk, and someone called in frantic and said, there's a nursing home that's on fire. And I said, well, hang up and call the police, call the fire department. Why are you calling a radio station? And they were like, we've been calling. These people are invalids, they can't get out. We're not getting any response. So I said, okay, give me the address. Where is it? And we went on the mic. People began to come out of their homes and get the people out of the nursing home and get them out into the street and then brought them in. I mean, we were very reactionary, but it seemed like over the time, people began to calm down. One of my favorite stories is I saw a woman with some kids sweeping down Crenshaw. At the time, we were on Crenshaw, and we had a big plate glass window in the broadcast booth. Saw a woman just sweeping Crenshaw, just sweeping down the street with some kids. What are you doing? She said, this is my community. I'm not going anywhere. I'm cleaning up my neighborhood. I said, okay. Over the course of 3 days, we collected probably $100,000 or just under $100,000. We didn't solicit funds. I don't like to solicit funds. I don't like to commingle money. We took the money. We got it from churches, from entertainers, from kids. 1 year after the riots, we did microloans back to small businesses in the community to kind of help them. We tried to do everything that we thought was the right thing to do. Our goal was to allow people to vent, to calm down, and probably try to make some sense of what was happening. If you flash forward to today, we have Trayvon Martin, 17-year-old, unarmed, killed by a tenacious neighborhood watch guy. Pasadena, California, we have a 19-year-old college student, unarmed, killed. Pasadena Police Department. These things are still happening. The difference is how we react to them. That's why this type of forum is critical. It's important that you understand that the only way to effectively change is for us to change. We can't react. As Lawson said, we can't react with violence. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. But what you do with that anger is the key. Violence is not the answer. Dialogue, communication. If you look today, we're still polarized. We still live separately. In a college environment, it's wonderful to see all the different hues sitting here. I love it. But for the most part, when you go home to the comfort and safety of your own home. What I'd like to see as we go forward is that we have more dialogue, more communication, so that we can at least understand the other person's perspective and understand their culture. In closing, we were trying to get some dialogue going. Radio Korea was kind enough to work with my news director, Carl Nelson, and we did 3 shows post the riots to try to get people to understand this is what happened. This is our perspective of what was happening. I thought it was very effective. My regret sitting here talking about polarization and separatism is that we didn't continue it. But I'm very thankful for Professor Kim opening up this dialogue today so we can remember what happened, why it happened, and perhaps it will never happen again. Thank you.